Bump, when you were doing training camp with the Seahawks, was there anyone that you knew, like any teammates that you already knew, or did you feel like all alone and by yourself?
No, I was dolo, just me.
Was that intimidating?
No, man. These, you're there for a reason. Win a spot, get a job.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
I went to school in Washington, so there were some homies on the west side that I could hit up though.
Yeah, I've never done a Seahawks training camp as a player myself. The only thing I can think of is college when I went there, and I didn't know anyone when I went there for my high school. And not that people from my high school didn't go, I just didn't know them. And I think it would be kind of cool, Nehemiah being at Seahawks training camp with not just someone who went to his school and who was a player at his school, but literally his teammate, like a fellow corner, someone you played opposite of.
Yeah, that's a blessing right there, man.
You know?
I could imagine going and having Brandon Gibson or Jason Hill on the squad and getting into the huddle and being able to, feel that comfort zone. But it ain't supposed to be comfortable. Even though he got his boy out here, I'm sure there's some newness to the situation for him.
Well, God, imagine if they hated each other. I'm not brave enough to ask Nehemiah, hey, are you secretly bummed DJ's coming here too? Can you imagine if you worked with a coworker and you were like, I hate this person, I can't wait to leave, oh my God. And then you get away from them and then they show up at your new job and they're like, I was hired too.
You too?
Yeah, this is tight, right?
Wow,
this is great. And you're like,
us.
oh my God, I'll never escape.
Look at us, we made it.
That's not how you feel, right, Bump?
No, not at all.
Okay, great.
Nah, I was more, let me see what she really is like, because my interaction with you were just very brief.
Yeah.
And a little 10-minute phone call with you and Jake.
Yeah.
You don't really get to know a person like that. So I went in just like, all right, here we go.
Something tells me DJ and Nehemiah know each other a lot better than we did when we first started as hosts. It's very, very cool. It is also interesting for them to be in the trenches together because you weren't undrafted, but even being a day 3 guy, even as a draft pick, I'm sure it still feels like I got to prove myself.
Yeah, only people who really have security are picks 1 through 3. They're going to get lots of opportunity. But even we've seen, the third pick get cut as well. But that's football in general. These guys aren't, or they're used to this. You always got to prove yourself. No one really has the red carpet rolled out for them unless you're a 5-star quarterback or something like that. Other than that, you got to go prove yourself. I wasn't a 5-star. I was like a 4.9 or something like that. And, I didn't just go to the Palouse and the job was mine. I had to earn it and try to take it from someone who was older than me. Oh, yeah, it's that's just the nature of the beast. This is ball. But the thing that defensive players have an advantage over offensive players is that they're typically the ones who excel on special teams too. Offensive guys, if you're not catching the football and making plays, it's you can still make the squad. We've seen Jake Bobo go down and make plays when I was playing. Obomanu was making tackles out there. We've seen Derek Young go out there and do it. But typically, they look at defensive guys first on special teams because they know they're used to making plays in open field.
Is that where you expect to see Nehemiah and DJ get a lot of work early? Not just that, but maybe start the season?
Oh, yeah, that's where you make a name for yourself. You get the special team coach to fall in love with you, you're good.
I will say one of the coolest things I remember is looking back at, it was like a week 2, week 3, week 4, and Cam Chancellor in his first season on special teams as a rookie made a great play. And just hearing the call where at the time they clearly, don't know what he's going to become is very cool. Maybe that's what we'll hear for some of these guys. Maybe we're going to hear a call about an amazing tackle by Nehemiah Pritchett on special teams, not knowing that he's going to become an all-pro eventually. Let's see. Quarterback Nehemiah Pritchett joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Nehemiah, how's it going?
I'm good. How about you?
I am fantastic. We're so excited to just take a couple minutes to get to know you. I promise this is going to be the easiest interview you've ever done. It's going to be so fun. My first question is actually what it's like kind of being in camp. I'm sure you've gotten this before with DJ. I mean, it's already, I'm sure, kind of intimidating to be at any camp, but at least you know someone, right? Oh, do we have Nehemiah?
No, well,
we lost him.
I hosted the rookie spotlight, and I asked him that same question.
Yeah.
And you saw him light up a little bit. Like, yeah, man, I got my dog. Not only your dog, but he had one side, your boy had the other side, so it had to be comforting.
All right, we're gonna ask him the same thing. Nehemiah back with us. Nehemiah, we got you? Okay, so I just wanted to know what your relationship is like with DJ. I think it's so cool that you got to start camp with someone you already know.
All right, yeah, it's super cool. Just seeing him getting drafted. I mean, I texted him right away after I seen his name come across the screen. But it's been great having him come with me. He was someone that at Auburn I created a really strong bond with, and we were roommates throughout the season. We was roommates at the Senior Bowl. We was roommates at the Combine. So this really is just a blessing just to have him come with me.
Yeah, man, that had to be awesome. I came up here in Dolo, but I had some guys who lived around here, so we would hang out. I want to ask you about college, man. The Iron Bowl is something special. I make sure I tune in every single year. One of my good friends, Courtney Taylor, actually was drafted by the Seahawks out of Auburn, and he tells me stories about it. What is it like that week leading up to that game? Because I would assume there's some dudes you know on the other sideline who you're going to compete against.
All right. It'd be a super intense weekend. Just knowing we had to watch a lot of film coming up for that game, we had to put our best foot forward, and I think the preparation be the most important part for that weekend. Just trying to get everybody on board, even the people that's out of town and don't really know as much about the rivalry. Kind of have to teach it to them and just kind of let them know what that game means to us.
Nehemiah, I have heard before some players from the SEC, it's the SEC, right? It's like the King Conference of college football, say, oh, I don't know if the pros are going to be that different. And then in the back of my mind, I always think like, oh, just wait and see. Do you feel that way? Or are you like, no, I can tell this is going to be something different?
I'll say it'll probably be a little different, but not as much, just because in the SEC, you're still going up against the SEC. I mean, the great talent every weekend. But some games, like the first 3 weeks, you don't really get that type of competition. In which I know in the NFL, you will be getting it every single week. So I'll probably say that's the main part.
That's a good point.
Hey, when I was coming up, I used to watch the slot receivers go to work back in the day. You probably don't know these dudes. Maybe you do. Hines Ward, Wes Welker. Who did you watch at your position growing up, and who'd you try to emulate your game off? Obviously, you do you, Nehemiah, but who did you watch and say, you know what, I like his game?
I'll say I watched a lot of prime time. That was one of my role models growing up. Just see how he could take the ball away on defense. As you can tell on TV, sometimes he talked a lot of trash, and he's able to back it up. And so that was one of my role models growing up.
Hey, Nehemiah, I'm just happy you didn't say Richard Sherman, not because he's not a great person to watch tape of, but it would have made me and Bump feel really old. So you choosing primetime is good for us because he's also someone we watched when we were younger. So that feels good. What's it like? Had you been to Seattle before? What's it like being up here? What are some of your first impressions? You will not hurt our feelings. I know you're from the Southeast, so you will not hurt our feelings if you're like, it's a little cold.
I'll say the first day I came up there, the weather was beautiful, to be honest.
Yeah.
In the past 2 days it was kind of rainy, but it was beautiful. The first day I went up there, all of the water, it's a lot of water, beautiful houses, apartments. So it was cool the first day. I just want to get to explore it a little bit more and kind of see what the food like. I'll say that'll be my main next thing, to try the food.
Well, if you like seafood, you're in the right spot. I'm not a seafood guy, so I'm the dude ordering pizza at the buffet when you got all that seafood there. Hey man, what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be? Well, let me change the question. When you play college football, practices are intense. It's different. You know what I mean? Like the coaches got a hold of you for at least 3 years, 4, maybe 5 years for some guys, and you grind. In the NFL, I'm not saying it's a softer practice, but it's easier, I feel like, as far as the contact. But what have you seen in the difference so far when it comes to practice at Auburn and practice here in Seattle?
I'll say the practice in Seattle was just all about quality work. They don't waste any time on nothing they shouldn't be practicing on. I'll say it's really more safer practice because you can't really be as physical throughout the practice. Like you can't go for balls that's in the air. You can't what else? You can't touch receivers after a certain amount of yards. So I'll say just the less physical part and more mental.
Well, part of this interview, Nehemiah, is for us to just get to learn a bit more about you, because once the season starts, all our questions for you are going to be boring. We're going to be like, so what happened on that play? How'd you get that interception? That's cool. And you're gonna be so bored with those questions. So instead, we want to know about you. Tell us what you're going to do in your spare time. You will have some spare time during the season. I promise. What's Nehemiah in his downtime do?
I'll say I like to play video games. I like to play Call of Duty, 2K, Madden, and I'll say I like to go bowling too during my free time. So I'll say those main two.
You a bowler, huh? What's your high score?
Probably like 260.
What? 260? 260?
Yeah.
Nehemiah.
I took a bowling class my senior year at Auburn, so that's kind of how I fell in love with that.
That means them grades was right. You taking bowling senior year. You got everything else out the way and said, I'm going to do this. Well, this is what you need to do. You got to go to Lucky Strike if you haven't been there yet. I'm sure maybe they've taken you there. But if not, you want the more like, hole in the wall type of deal. Kenmore Lanes. Go to Kenmore Lanes and you get some work done there.
Make DJ go with you.
Make DJ go. Have when I was playing. See, I didn't get drafted. I was undrafted free agent. So they had all these rookie deals. Rookies got to pay for lunch. They got to do this and do that. Have you been a subject to any of the rookie hazing that goes on in the NFL yet?
I haven't. Not yet.
Hold on to your wallet. Hopefully they take care of you.
Let me tell you what.
They got to send it all towards Byron Murphy's way.
That's what I was going to say. If I'm Nehemiah, if I'm you, and they tell the rookies I'm looking immediately at Christian and Byron, and I'm going, you guys got this. I'll put 20 in. Here we go.
Yep.
Hey, my last question for you: are you an NBA fan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Bump is a huge NBA fan. He is a Lakers fan, unfortunately. But he has been all in on the T-Wolves Nuggets series. What series are you especially interested in?
The same exact one, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves.
Yeah. Is it because of Anthony Edwards?
Yeah, man.
Right.
He plays with that dog in him, and that's what I like about him.
I love it. Did you happen to hear what Austin Rivers said about NBA, NFL? He said he can take 30 NBA players and they can play in the NFL. Crazy talk. He said you can't take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA. Crazy talk. I feel like a DB like you will be locked down on defense, good in the fast break. What are your thoughts on Austin Rivers comparing the two?
I disagree with his comment. I'm pretty sure you can take 30 out of the NFL and put it in the NBA for sure.
Easy work.
All right, you taking T-Wolves to take Game 3. Bump took them 3-0 in this series.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the T-Wolves.
Man.
I think they on fire right now. I think they found out a way to stop Jokic, and so it's kind of been rough for the Nuggets lately. So we'll see.
All right, well, have fun through the rest of OTAs in camp. Have fun watching this series. He is Seahawks rookie cornerback Nehemiah Pritchett. Nehemiah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Nehemiah.
Thank you, guys.